We'll move down to the minutes of 6-4. Oh, I'm sorry, public portion, I'm sorry. Anybody got anything they want to bring up in the public, please state your name and address, and we'll see if we can answer questions.
Sure.
Sure.
I'm Mike Gingrey. I'm now known as malcontent number 2. We have a number of malcontents, and I chose number 2. So
Can't be number 1.
I can't be number 1, so I'm not here all year. But anyway, as malcontent number 2, I had a couple questions, and first off, I would just like to say that I thought that whole thing of calling citizens malcontents and also telling you, Mr. Britton, that you had thrown in with the malcontents was extremely disrespectful. We have a right as citizens to say what we want, when we want. And we have a right to express our opinion, and it is an opinion. And if you as a board don't like our opinion, then that's fine. And you can say, we don't agree with you, and that's fine. But to make comments like a bunch of malcontents and accusing you of throwing in with the malcontents in a public meeting was extremely disrespectful to the citizens that come to these meetings, because you don't know who you're talking about being a malcontent. I know right now that there's a survey going on the computer that says 96% of the people that took the survey do not trust the township trustees. It's 30-3 right now in the vote, and you can't vote but once. So I would say there's some people that are very malcontent with the trustees. I think that they feel like there's some issues. And the display that was done last meeting was a tremendous display of why it's a 30-3 vote right now, that people don't trust their township trustees. Now, there's not 33 malcontents that come to these meetings. So there has to be some people out there that are not part of this little group that feel the same, that there's problems. And they're expressing the fact that there's problems. To pull the power play that was pulled last meeting was ridiculous. And now I know what will happen if somebody's going to be absent next time. The other 2 members of that group will not show up either, so you won't have a quorum. And then you can't vote on anything. And I understand that's part of politics. But I think you're elected to come to this board meeting and do business, and not pull power plays and not be disrespectful to the other members of the board. You were extremely disrespectful in those votes last week. And the Flowergate situation is kind of ridiculous. If you can't afford $10 out of your pocket to give to somebody to buy flowers, then let me know and I'll put your $10 in for you. But to spend my taxpayers' money to buy flowers to send to someone, the thought is wonderful. And thank you for yawning, Ms. Wayman. I know you're really getting bored.
Excuse me for 1 minute, Mike. I've been up since 5 o'clock. I know that's no excuse, but that's...
I was too. I got up at 5 this morning.
Okay, I worked today.
I didn't work. I'm retired. I'm sorry about that. But if you can't afford $10 for flowers, I'd be happy to give it to you or loan it to you until you can get it. But to spend my taxpayers' money to buy flowers because you don't want to kick $10 into a kitty, to me is kind of ridiculous. I find that just rather appalling. The other thing that is kind of interesting to me is that a member of this community got a letter from a lawyer. Letter was unsigned by the lawyer. It had several threatening comments in it. Of course, a letter means nothing. You know that. As a lawyer, you know that. You can send letters all day, but it doesn't mean anything. There's no teeth to a letter. But to get an unsigned letter and making accusatory comments about the Madison 44057, whatever it is, online.com. He didn't even know what form he was talking about because he spelled it wrong. He didn't have the form right in the letter. Didn't sign the letter. And then he must have been thinking about Chinese food because wonton was spelled wonton. So I don't know what kind of an attorney writes those kind of letters that he doesn't know what he's talking about as far as the form, does not spell properly, and is sending accusatory letters to citizens in this community. I find that appalling. I'm not mentioning names, I'm not mentioning who sent it or who got it. But it was somebody sitting at that table. And if that's all you've got to do is to pay your lawyer to write a letter to a citizen, you know, I can say anything I want to say about you. It's my opinion. Now, I can't tell a lie about you. But even a lie must be made with reckless disregard for the truth before anything, particularly you as public servants. You have a much further route to go to come back on me than if you were just another John Henry. I can tell you that I think you're the worst councilman or the worst trustee in the world. And that's my opinion. I'm welcome to my opinion. I can say that anytime I want to. I can say anything I can't want to say about your performance. I can say anything I want to about your voting record. That's my opinion. And I'm welcome to do that. So, as malcontent number 2, I'm going to be here for the next 3 months, and I will be malcontent. If you want to call me that, then I'll be Mr. Malcontent number 2. But I guarantee you that I'll hold your feet to the fire every opportunity I get. And don't make a mistake while I'm still around, because I will absolutely hold your feet to the fire. Now, I asked some questions last month. We've been called malcontents. We've been, other things have been said to us that were extremely disrespectful by people sitting at that table. And I'm getting kind of tired of it. We sit here, we ask you questions, we present you ideas, we present you things to think about, things to talk about, and we try to play an active role in the operation of the fire district. And I really don't believe we've really come down and been just plain nasty to you. I don't remember any time, maybe when I wasn't here sometime, somebody got nasty with you, but I don't remember that. I think most of the times we've tried to conduct ourselves to try to bring things to your attention that we think are important in the operations of the fire district. And we feel like we've done some good work in that respect. We know we did a lot of good work in the one plan that we presented you that still is sitting on the back burner. And I know Mr. Brotzman and he said he disagreed with me over buying, paying cash or not, and paying payments. And yet you went out and borrowed $600,000 to purchase stuff that they needed in the township. Why don't you pay cash, Mr. Brotzman, or wait till you have the cash and then pay for it? But no, you don't. You know, it's two different games you play here. You've got a place that's got some money, so we spend it foolishly. You got a place that hasn't got any money, so you go out and borrow it. That doesn't make sense to me. You know, you play